Signs of inappropriate behavior by the government House Leader took place with a former Speaker. The government House Leader, MLA for Meadow Lake, bragged that he could get the Speaker to rule in any way that he wanted. There's plenty of evidence that did take place. The government House Leader would text the Speaker how he should rule on a regular basis. The Speaker resigned and ran federally. When I became Speaker, the intimidating and harassing text messages began immediately, trying to influence my rulings. My experience with the government House Leader in the chambers includes threatening gestures. Whenever I ruled against him during session, he would start yelling at me and stand up and flash his suit jacket and storm out. The example of one of these text messages was sent on March 22nd, 2023, and I quote, "That's an absolute bullshit ruling, completely wrong, and Iris will tell you that." Iris referring to the clerk. It soon got back to me that my removal as Speaker was discussed on a regular basis in the government caucus. As I passed the government lounge, Reg Downs, special advisor to the Premier, came out of the lounge and lunged at me, nearly hitting me, and stamped his feet very aggressively. It was obvious there was communication between the government Deputy House Leader, the government staffer, and Reg Downs, who was waiting inside the government caucus lounge. This was not the first time I was threatened like this. Another MLA rushed me at a party function and came very close to headbutting me. The government House Leader of the MLA for Meadow Lake showed signs of inappropriate behavior from the time he was first elected. Misleading statements and out-and-out lies. He has been called out numerous times. He expects his staff to go to his home, pick up his clothes. He has trouble keeping staff. There's a revolving door of staff coming and going. But more disturbing is his obsession with guns and his use of intimidation, both verbally and physically. His desire to get permission to carry a handgun in the Legislative Assembly is particularly disturbing. Another incident reported by a former special constable was when the government House Leader flaunted the rules concerning weapons when he brought a hunting rifle into the Legislative building. He owns many weapons, including a .223 AR style 4-shot clip, lightweight, which looks like an assault weapon. Weapons like these can be easily converted to more than 4 shots. As I stated before, my experience with the government House Leader includes threatening gestures. Whenever I rule against him in the Assembly, he will start yelling at me and standing up and flashing a suit jacket. As the gestures and behavior became more aggressive, I worried that he might be carrying a handgun. My concerns over his mental stability and his obsession with guns was only confirmed when he heckled after the passing of the motion to devolve all relevant parts of the Firearms Act to the province. He twice yelled, open carry next." I have an opportunity to participate in international electoral observation missions around the world. But first, before I travel thousands of miles to support democracies facing challenges worldwide in recent decades with the resurgence of populism and the increase in popularity of leaders with autocratic tendencies, I'm going to carry out the remainder of my term as Speaker right here in Saskatchewan, championing the electoral process and continue being the custodian of this institution and defend and protect our democracy. Saskatchewan is blessed with wonderful people, whether they are Indigenous or descendants of immigrants or newcomers who have only been living in Saskatchewan for a few years. Saskatchewan is also blessed with rich agricultural land, vast natural resources, and a first-class entrepreneurial spirit. Saskatchewan deserves a government that reflects those values, our province's values of honesty and integrity.
What did they expect me to do with a continuing of harassment and bullying? Like I said, enough is enough. Don't forget the Saskatchewan Party was formed by 4 Liberal MLAs joining with 4 Progressive Conservative MLAs. But under Brad Wall, that thinking and those policies reflected that. With the new Premier Scott Moe, after the leadership, the party just changed totally. Their policies were definitely lurched to the right, and it just didn't feel like a good place to be anymore.
Listen, the Speaker's never said anything to me about any of this, and so we just heard it there. I heard parts of it, actually. I don't know where it's coming from.
Make of him posting his cut up party card on the last night.
Again, shock to me, as I haven't spoken with the speaker. He hasn't spoken to me about any of these feelings that he has, and some of the things that he's doing and posting online. Ultimately, those are his decisions. I would have appreciated maybe a conversation at some point along the line, or probably beyond that at this point. And I would say again. Until December 14th, he was actively trying to run to be a part of this party, and now he's, trying to run away from it. And so that's unfortunate. That's a choice that he's making. It's a choice that I don't have any control over.